Hello, this is Bug News, and today we're going to talk about Ready to Love, Make a Move. And um, just some of the storyline to the show. Sorry for the pause. So as you know, we have four women on the show: Ashley, Charisse, Vernisha, and Zadia. Now, what I want to point out too is that I noticed that the women have upped their game as far as dressing, and they've upped their game um, as far as style too. Whereas in the past, if you may recall that they didn't have that much experience with the TV and how to present themselves, but I can definitely see a difference. Like when they are on camera, um, uh, that they've spent money on the outfits, if you know what I mean. Now the men, the men are dressing nice too. Um, but it's not to the level that the women have been presenting themselves in certain scenes. And what I mean by that, normally um, they don't dress this way until they're at their reunion. And when I mean they, the women. Um, but in addition to that, we found some new rules. So once the women, like you go on a date with the women, and then they come back and make a comparison maybe to another guy or something. So right now, once the women say they don't want use the words I want to move in a new direction, you're pretty much off the show. There's no dating the other women. Um, but we can go over some detail as to what happened during this episode. So this is episode 2 of season 1, and I also want to point out that it appears that the casting picked women that have strong personalities, and we'll go over that later. But right now, so we have the women were introduced to new guys, and they were matched by the matchmaker that's hosting the show. And if my notes are correct, Cameron and Zadia, Maurice and Charisse, Renisha and Roman, Ashley and Marcus, and Charisse, and I'm sorry. Let me look at that again. So Cameron and Zadia, Maurice and Charisse, Renisha and Roman. That's what I missed, I think. And Ashley and Marcus. And the host is Tamika. So for Zadia's date, she changed her hair and she went out with Cameron. Cameron is a pharmacist, so he is really considered a doctor in that profession. So to become a pharmacist, you do 4 years of undergrad, and you also have to do 4 years of maybe 3 to 4 years of graduate school, but you go to a pharmacy school. And then, of course, you have to take state board, and you still probably have to do some type of apprenticeship. And he's also a photographer. So that's who Zadia met, was hooked up with. So they went on a date. I mean, I guess the date was okay. Um, um, Zadia, seemed to have more experience as far as with, I guess, with dating probably than the pharmacy guy. So the next date that they presented was Ashley and Marcus. So on a date, Ashley and Marcus went on a date. I think it was like a bike riding date. They got some ice cream, but for some reason, Marcus said that Ashley had on gold dress, where she had on a brown dress. And this, Ashley doesn't, she's kind of bubbly. So if you offend her, she kind of sort of laughs it off. But in her mind, she's probably thinking something else. So that was a major strike against Marcus while on his date. Um, and Marcus was assistant principal. And as you know, Ashley's a speech therapist, and she's also has done many things, as I said in the past, um, and such as writing a book. And then I think she was still after the show, she was in media somehow or promoting herself while she was in Atlanta. Um, so next we have Vernicia and Roman. Now, I'm glad that. Now, Venetia is very curvy, and to the point you probably turn your head. But um, I'm glad that what's the guy from Ready to Love Dallas is not on here, Habib. Because he definitely would have said something, or even what was his name, Fabius, or something from one of the seasons. They definitely would have said something. But Roman is an ex-basketball player. I think the highest he made in the NBA was like the D League or G League. So he's mostly been playing overseas. I don't know. Now I don't know. He says he's retired, but even if he's retired, unless he made a lot of money, I mean, people overseas make a lot of money. Um, he he has no income. I mean, he has income, but what I'm saying is he's not working right now, so he's retired. So they went on a date. They talked, but he said he hasn't been in a serious relationship in a long while, and in that relationship with 2 years. So this was a red flag to Renisha. Basically, he's a basketball player, so professional basketball player. So I'm pretty sure, he has a lot of fans. Okay, so Sharice and Maurice went on a date. Maurice is a lawyer. He has 4 kids, and and they're all grown. Now another guy that Sharice was interested in, as you know, he had kids too, but he had one 4-year-old. So Sharice thought that's a red flag. But for Sharice, the type of woman that likes a guy to spend money on her, you know, um, I'm cheap. So I probably have issues on the way Sharice is presenting herself. So take that, give her a +3 because I'm cheap. And then I know she like to spend money. So an example would be you probably go on a date with Sharice, and if you say Applebee's, she gonna be like, "What? I want to go to Fogo de Chão." And oh, you been there before? No. You see what I'm saying? So I will be the sponsor for her experience. No middle ground. That's my point. So, but I mean, that's her. And like I said, it's give her the +3 for the negative that I'm taking away. Right. So she's back, she's in good balance. Um, but because she said she likes to go out on dates, she likes to go to concerts, spend money, spend money. I mean, I'm not saying nothing wrong with this, but then the point out, dude was in a suit. Now, Therese says she's from Baltimore. Baltimore's a working class town. So, and I know she said she didn't have her father in life, but when he was presented on the show, he was a well dressed man. But I'm thinking that coming from a working class town, the guys in the suits may have presented themselves as more stable in her mind. You know, whoever wore a suit to work every day. This is just me speculation with no proof, allegedly, if you know what I mean. So they went on a date. They was talking, and he gave her some flowers, and even like I said, even her dressing, excuse me, has was I ain't gonna say it's risen, but it's they seem to be more conscious of that. And in addition to that, um, everything about their presentation is more conscious. Now I don't know if they have a budget when they sign these contracts or anything, but That's my perception. So pay close attention to that. And then remember, the women, all of the women are a little more relaxed, so they present them in a different light because they are not in competition with each other. They're already who they are, if I'm explaining that correctly. So they're not in competition with one another, the show, a man's opinion. They are who they are, and they are seeking out the love. So maybe as far as the whatever it is with the marketing and testing and stuff like that, whatever they do, they say let's present it this way to build up an audience. So it's the energy is different. The only bad energy, we'll talk about that later. But so Therese claimed they had a date. Maurice claimed they had a date. So of course, they had to get back, and people had to be eliminated. So remember, it's only going to be the men right now. That's all they present. This is the first season. So it's really, um, so does the Zadia does the first elimination basically. So and what they use is the term is moved in a different direction. So Zadia dumped Jabbar, but remember Jabari was also dating Vernisha, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Um, so she dumped him um, due to let me see. Let me look at my notes here. So Cameron, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, she jumped the bar for Cameron. So Cameron was the pharmacist, and he was younger. And Zadia, while she was on a date with Cameron, did her, I guess, when they do their monologue or whatever it's called, when she pointed out that she wasn't as physically as attracted to Jabari as she was Cameron. Okay, so I mean, take that how you want to take it. All right, so the next person, what was if I recall correctly, was Ashley, and she picked Antonio. Um, and Antonio was the guy from the previous episode. And as you know, um, Marcus, he wasn't focused, so she didn't like that. And Ashley, it actually seemed like a pretty easygoing person to EF. I'm not gonna say TF up, but in this case, he kind of effed up, especially on a show like this. Um, so as you know, Vernisha, she picked Jabari. So, and Damon lost the basketball player, and then Sharice picked Maurice. Um, she picked Maurice, and I think she picked Maurice because she said she was there was no chemistry with the other guy. Another guy admitted that. Then she also pointed out that he wore the vest, which I don't understand. But that's Sharice. And like I said, give her those 3 points. Because she has a right to, like I said, she has a right to be who she is and have her preference. Now, the interesting part, like I said, the only drama was basically coming between the women. So what happened, or how it was described, it still wasn't clear, is that Zadia went out on a date again with Cameron. And they stayed out till the morning. And for Zadia to get back in the house, for some reason she called Sharice. I don't know why, but it is what it is. So Sharice was right. She said, well, you woke me up. Basically, she called in the morning, woke her up, and she was upset. And then, but I guess she was saying, like, Zadia felt she was entitled not entitled to call her, but entitled for her to open the door because she was to get back in the house. So of course, this caused some drama. So, but when asked by, I think the lady's name Tamika, Zadia, they were implying that Zadia was lying. Zadia said, "Who was in that room?" Well, the lady wasn't specific. Lady was specific. Zadia was in her room to a certain point last night, but she had left out, and she said she went for a walk. So she didn't lie about that, probably because they went down here and Cameron went somewhere and walked around and hung out till morning. So technically, she didn't lie. Um, but it wasn't transparent. Um, so Cherie said she didn't want any men in the house. The guy never even came in the house. Then while they was having a mixer again, Sharice was talking to the guy, Cameron, and then Zadia saw that. So of course, um, well, if he gets eliminated by Zadia, he's out of there. He won't even have a chance with Sharice. So I say that to say, because Sharice, when I was cooking, Sharice was talking about Cameron giving all these compliments. Of course, that's from Zadia wrong. So they picked, like I said, they picked the women with these personalities, knowing that the personality is going to clash on the TV. I always tell people, the people who are doing the casting, they put these people in psychological evaluations, and then people got this down to a science now, so they know what's going to happen or what the probability that could happen. So of course, Sharice and Zadia was going back and forth over this issue of her coming in late, and in addition to that, most of the women were surprised that Zadia was well, allegedly lied to make about the situation or the way she described the situation. So Sharice said, she would leave, and they came to blows or whatever. I doubt that, but just it's so amazing that Sharice is so bougie on one end, but then gets quickly flipped because she said she doesn't mind fighting if she has to. So Bougetto on the other end. So we gonna say she's Bougetto, right? Because that's the way it's coming. Where Zadia, those words never came out of her mouth. She just was explaining. Well, she was poking the bear a little bit, but um, Sharice was the one, on her west side mode, or east side mode, or south side mode, ready for Zadia in that aspect. So that's pretty much was it. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe, and thank you very much.